Good afternoon, students. Today we will see the another session for Code of Ethics for Community Pharmacy, in which pharmacists have to follow the various rules, various codes of ethics in community pharmacy. Today we will discuss the same topic, but in that we will cover Code of Ethics principles. So there are eight number of principles that pharmacists have to follow. Pharmacists have to guide these principles, and he had to use these principles into his work. In that first principle, pharmacists respect the professional relationship with patient and act with honesty, integrity, and compassion. So here honesty is very important. Pharmacists must work his profession with honesty. He cannot do any fraud. He must do his work with all supports and with all efforts, and he must use integrity in his work because he cannot do partiality. He must think all the peoples who are coming towards him, all the patients who are coming towards him, they all belongs to the his family. You have to think in that way. They all are their patients, so all are comes in the one category. He cannot he cannot discriminate, or he cannot distinguish one person from the another. So integrity he had to maintain, and he should have compassion for the patients. He must have the respect for the patients. The patient pharmacist relationship is a covenant, meaning that pharmacist has the moral obligations in response to the trust believed from the society. So whatever the respect he's getting from the society, whatever trust he's getting from the society, he must try to maintain that trust. He need to try to maintain the belief in him by the society. A pharmacist has a duty to tell the truth. So he must clarify all the problems. He must tell all the things in clear manner, in proper manner. He should not hide a single thing. It may be negative or positive regarding the patients. To act with conviction of consciences and to avoid discriminatory practices and behavior. So he work in such a way that he must tell the truth, as well as he should not do any discriminatory work. He should work as a profession, as a good moral person. So he cannot deny anybody to give drugs. He must work in that way because his profession don't allow him to do that. Second principle in that pharmacists honor the individual needs, values, and dignity of the patients. Now, here are several obligations which pharmacists have to follow. That first is a pharmacist assists patient to make informed choices about their own best interest. Means what are the various products are available, or various drugs are available, tablets are available, various options are available. So he must tell all the options. He must show all the options in front of the patients, so that out of them whichever is the best option which is suitable for the patient, so he can choose according to his will. So for that he must show him all the possible options which are available. And a pharmacist aids patients in their expression of needs and values, and recognizes their right to live at risk. If there is risk into the drugs, or risk into the therapy, or whatever choice, if the patient is doing, if there is any problem is there, any complication is there, so accordingly he need to be identify that complication or problem, and he must notify or he must clarify to the patients, and he need to develop the expression of needs and values. Now next is a pharmacist conduct all time knowledges the patients as a person discussion of care in the presence of patient should whenever possible actively include the patients. So pharmacists have a bunch of knowledge of regarding disease and the drugs, so he must give that knowledge to the patients, and he must discuss that typical problem with the patients and try to convince them regarding the treatment, regarding the drugs and the therapy. Third principle, pharmacists support the right of patient to make personal choice about the pharmacy care. Pharmacist has the primary responsibility to inform the patient about available pharmacy care. Whatever the pharmacy cares are available to him, so he must give that information to the patients so that patient can choose the possible available resources. Out of them he can choose and he can get. A pharmacist owes a duty to disclose material risk associated with the medication therapy. So pharmacist must tell regarding the risk which may occur into the medication therapy, and he must tell that risk to the patients. And it is a risk pharmacist owes a duty to disclose the material risk, and means after taking these tablets you may have fever, or taking these drugs you may suffer from skin rash, or you may have headache, or you may have red coloration of urination. So like that, if any risk is there, so pharmacist must tell, and it's a duty of pharmacist to disclose whatever risk is there, or if you have to do some heavy work, so don't do that, so there is risk of cardiac arrest. So like that he must disclose all the wrong things, all the difficult things or risk things which may worsen his problems. A pharmacist should aid patient in becoming an active participants in their care to maximize extend that circumstances per minute. So the pharmacist have a role to become active participation from the patients. Means he have to tell all the aspects of the drugs. He have to acquainted with the reality of the disease, so that the whatever the possible risks are there, the risk can be nullified, risk can be overcome, and you will get the maximum chances of relief. A pharmacist to provide information to the patient in understandable and sensitive way. So pharmacist must give the information according to the language of the patients, so that the patient can understand his language, and by the sensitive way. Fourth principle, pharmacists provide a complete care to the patient and actively support the patient's right to receive competent and ethical care. A pharmacist commit to lifelong learning design to maintain relevant knowledge and skills. So pharmacist must develop himself, he must develop the skills to communicate with the patients, to tell them regarding the drugs, to tackle the patients. There are various types of patients. Some patients are very polite, some patients are very aggressive, some patients are very depressed, some patients are not not that much freely talkable, some patients are talkable. So like this, lots of variety of patients are there. So the pharmacist must develop the lifelong skill to maintain his work, his profession in good manner. Pharmacist places concern for the well-being for the patient at the center of professional practice. So pharmacy is having role that there must be well-being of patients. Patients must recover as early as possible. So it is his first priority, the center of professional practice, and provide best care that circumstances. And he have to take care of patients in such a way that the patients will come out from the condition as well as possible, mentally as well as physically. So he must tell the patients regarding his well-being, how the patients will immediately or fastly recover from that difficult crisis or difficult circumstances. And experience and education permits. So he can educate the patients, and by his experience, he can teach the patients so that patients will acquainted with that typical disease and the drugs, and he will come out from that condition as early as possible. Fifth principle, pharmacists protect the patient's right of confidentiality. Here, the confidentiality is very, very important. A pharmacist provide pharmacy care with consideration for the personal privacy of patients, because whatever the information the patient is providing to the pharmacist, so it is personal one, so he should not disclose that information to the others. So he need to be keep it very confidential regarding the drugs, what drugs he is taking or he is under therapy, or from which disease. If that disease is not that much common, if it is a rare disease, regarding any confidential things, so he should not disclose to the public, he must keep it confidential. An affirmative duty assists to institute and maintain practices that protect patients confidentiality. Yes, because whatever record we are having in our organization, in our institutes, so we should not immediately publicize, or immediately we should disclose to the other. So we should not do that. It's information, it is confidential regarding the patient's name or patient's profile, his disease, his age, his anything, any factor. So he should not tell it publicly, or he should not use these documents, his information, to any external authority very easily. For that he must get some letters from authority. Sixth principle, pharmacists respect the values and abilities of the colleagues and other health professionals. Pharmacists accept responsibility to work with colleagues and other healthcare professionals. He must give respect to our profession, and for that he must give respect to his colleagues also, the person who are working with them. They may be subordinate persons, so he must give respect, means give respect and take respect. So for that, if you are giving respect to others, you will also get respects. And other also to other healthcare professionals, you should give proper respect. And with public interest pharmacy organization and patients advocacy groups to promote safe and effective pharmacy care. So, to the organization in which you are working, in the hospitals or any colleges or any institutes, you should give respects, and you should work in such a way you are the part of that institutes. And also to the patient advocacy groups, means the well wishers of patients, the people who are coming along with the patients, you should also give respect to them, you should also give good suggestion to them, so that the surrounding environment will be positive, and these people are also feeling very good regarding the patient, that our patients are getting good facility here, because the pharmacist and all the medical staff are behaving very goodly, very politely with us. Don't give a wrong intention to them. Don't give the uh, don't talk with them very roughly or arrogantly. Talk with them politely, and give them all the information. If any critical issue is there, so try to clarify politely, give them satisfactory answer. That is very very important. Handle the any critical condition, handle it very politely and satisfactorily. A pharmacist, when appropriate, ask for consultation of colleagues or other health professionals to refer the patients. So, appropriately, we should ask for the consultation of colleagues. You can discuss that matter with our colleagues, read the drugs, and by that way, you can give the information to the patients. If you are not knowing that, you should ask to your colleagues or you can ask to your seniors and other health professionals in case of any complication, any problem arises which you are not able to handle. You can discuss with your colleagues or your other medical professionals. After that, refer to the refer the patients. Now, seventh principles, pharmacists endeavor to ensure that practice environment contributes to safe and effective pharmacy care. A pharmacist manager has a responsibilities to foster an optimal practice environment. What is meant by foster an optimal environment? Means as we are taking care of our child, how we are behaving with them, like that you should take a responsibility of our patients and give them priority and protect them from any problems. So produce that environment, and like that you should give treatment to our patients and ensure the provision of required sources and ensure all the resources whether they are available or not. Suppose in case of corona patients, we should ensure that we whether we are having oxygen facility or not, whether we are having ventilators or not, whether we are having the facility of temperature or humidity control or not. So like that, whatever resources are there, whether they are available or not, we should make sure that, so that the patient will get good environment to completely cure from the condition, critical condition. If there is conflict between professional activities and management policies, professional responsibilities will take precedent. What is meant by precedence? Prior. First, if there is conflict between management policies and professional responsibilities, so in that what we will choose? We have to choose our professional responsibilities. What your professional tells, what your management will tell, don't listen to them. Listen to your professional. You are a pharmacist. What is your first priority? Your first priority is your profession. What your professional tells. If your profession tells you have to handle your patients, you must handle your patients. Don't think about the management policies. Think about the patient's life. Life is very important. You cannot sacrifice anybody's life for your management policies. So for that, try to understand the policies, and your first priority will be our professional policies, and you have to do your pharmacist work as early as possible. Don't wait for anything. Eighth principle, pharmacists ensure continuity of care in the event of job action. Pharmacy closure or conflict with moral benefits. We must develop some moral benefits. A pharmacist has a duty through coordination and communication to ensure the provision of essential pharmacy care. So pharmacists always should coordinate with all the staffs in the hospitals and do communication with them, proper communication and communication to ensure the provision of essential pharmacy care throughout the duration of any job action or pharmacy closure. Patients who require ongoing or emergency pharmacy care are entitled to have those needs satisfied. If anybody want the emergency pharmacy care, so you should immediately give them. Don't wait for a single minute. Immediately give them emergency pharmacy care and just satisfy them and also satisfy our goals, our code of ethics. So what our ethics tells. Also, don't rely on the money If any patients don't have money, so don't let them wait for the drugs. So give them the possible required applications or drugs or whatever facilities equipments they required, so provide them as early as possible. That is our first priority as a code of ethics. So as we are discussing ethics, we should think regarding the ethics, don't think regarding the money. Ethical problems. So there are three types of problems. There are three categories which can arise during our ethical code conduct. During our code conduct, these problems may arise. That first is ethical violations. As we are discussing violation of rules, violation of laws. So here, if any ethical code will be break up, it is called as ethical violations. The neglect of moral obligations. If you are neglecting the moral obligations, suppose the patients are coming towards you for getting any medication, and if you are neglecting to the patients, if you are doing your personal work or you are going outsides, you are closing your medical or you are closing your dispensaries, and you are allowing him to wait for 1 hour 2 hour, so it is nothing but the ethical violations. So we should not do that. It may be there. Ethical dilemmas. What is that? Ethical dilemmas means when you are not able to, when you are coming to the conclusion, when you are not able to choice the proper one from two difficult choice, when you are not able to select a one from that, so it is nothing but the ethical dilemmas, where ethical reasons both for the against a particular course of action and are present. So from one is positive and other is negative, so you are difficult to choice from them, and one option must be selected. So for that, if you are getting too much time, so in that condition also ethical dilemma may be the one of the ethical problems. And ethical distress, when pharmacists experience the imposition of practices that provoke feeling of guilt, concern of distaste. So when there may be the feeling of guilt or feeling of the aversion, feeling of unpleasantness if you are having. So it is nothing but the ethical distress, and it is also one of the problem of ethical code conduct. Now here are certain advantages of code of ethics that we will discuss one by one. The code provides clear direction for avoiding ethical violations. There are certain codes, means the rules which has been prepared for the community pharmacy. So pharmacists have to follow these rules. The code cannot serve the same function for all ethical dilemmas, for all ethical distress. The pharmacy cannot follow the same function. There may be different ways, different uh, policies may be there for different types of dilemmas or ethical distress. The code cannot relieve ethical distress. So code not having directly relation with the ethical distress. So he cannot relieve directly. Code tries to provide guidance for those pharmacists who face ethical problems. So the code is having very important role to give the guidelines for the new pharmacists who are just enter into this field and they are learning lots of things. So they are also learning these ethical codes, how to behave with the patients, what rules he need to follow, and what precaution he need to take, and in what way he can discuss with the patients regarding their problems, regarding their consequences, regarding their complications. So and how to sort out their problems, how to compromise some our managerial policies or our economical policies, if suppose if any patient don't have money to give at a time of dispensing of drugs, so what he should think, he should give the drugs for sake of humanity, and try to let alive that patients. He cannot sacrifice the life of patients for money. So like that, various ethics he need to follow. Sometimes they may be problematic, but lots of times they can save the life of the patients. So in this way, today we have discussed this topic, complete this topic, the code of ethics for pharmacists. So I hope you understood the whole concepts what we have discussed today. If you have any issue, you can discuss with me afterwards. So for today, it is sufficient. If you have any problem, you can ask me. And here, my one suggestion is you that try to be present when our lecture is going on online. There are very less students are available, and some students are seeing them afterwards. So try to be present there at proper time. Okay, so thanks a lot for today. Bye.